What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and after last week, I wasn't really sure what to think, of the game, of the team, all of that stuff. Because it wasn't a great performance, but we still came out 3-0 winners, so it was very comfortable. After today, I can say without a doubt, I'm not convinced. Sorry, the way he's playing, the way he's having the team play, the players he's putting out on the field the first two games. I'm not convinced. This honestly shouldn't have been our win. I'm glad it was. I'm happy we got the win, but honestly, I don't want to have this team that I support end up relying so much on luck. And that's pretty much why we won today, was because of luck. Yes, we, finished our chances. That's great. However, I feel like a lot of it was down to the fact that, well, look at the chances that were missed on the other side. So I'm just not happy with the performance. I'm not happy with a lot of the stuff that happened, especially at the end of the first half and first part of the second half. But anyway, with that being said, let's talk about the lineup. So, same exact lineup from the first week, and I'm kind of disappointed with that. I've got no problem with wanting to give some players some chances to prove themselves. However, there are some players that have had chances to prove themselves and have not proven themselves, and yet Sarri continues to trust in them. And I find a problem with that. Obviously, the two big ones for me are Morata and David Luiz. Morata, nothing from him the first week. David Luiz, I saw an article on the Chelsea app about Sarri saying, "Oh, David Luiz, he's such a good defender." If that's really what he thinks, then I really don't know what to think about Sarri. Does he not watch him play? Does he not watch him defend? Because it's awful. It's like all the people that are raving about Virgil van Dijk. I'm like, do you actually watch him in crucial moments? He's very lazy. Yes, he can be a good defender, but there are times when he looks an awful defender because of how lazy he is. David Luiz is the same way. And so the fact that Sarri continues to trust in him and even talked about how good a defender he is, it really is concerning for me, because I'm thinking, we're just going to have him in the back this whole season, aren't we? It's not going to change. Christensen, even though he's a better defender, he's more solid. Because he's not what Sarri wants, we got to rely on this crazy, wild defender that's going to get out of position, that's not going to work hard, who can be lazy defensively. And it leads to games like this, where we just give away chance after chance after chance after chance. And that's frustrating to me. So that's everything to do with Sarri. I'm not happy with him right now. I'm not happy with the way the team was performing today. I'm continuing my hashtag for now, because, frankly, I don't want to see our team just be all out attack and not defend at all. It was pitiful. It was absolutely awful. So my hashtag, for anyone who's wondering, I think I'm going to put it on the screen, for the picture. It's going to be hashtag Sarriball. And not like Maurizio Sarri. I'm talking about like Sarri is an awful. That's what I'm sticking with, because, frankly, I'm not liking what I'm seeing. It's pitiful defending, and I know a lot of people love the attacking style, love the oh, look at that flowing motion, look at the passing, look at the movement, it looks great, and they don't give two craps about defending. I care about defending. I want to win games, and when we defend like we did today, there are going to be games we're going to give away. So, with that being said, moving on to the individual performances, Kepa in goal. Here's what happens whenever you put this much money on a keeper who's that young. The pressure gets to him, and he has some really bad saves today. Or, well, missed saves. Both of the goals, he should have saved him. And it's something, once again, where the reason that I was okay with Courtois leaving when he did is because in my mind I'm thinking, okay, well, he's not really providing as much as we should have from a keeper. If we want to be challenging for the league, if we want to be challenging in the Champions League, we need keepers that are going to keep us in the game. And Courtois wasn't really doing that. He was making the saves he should be making, but he wasn't really making saves that he should not be making, which is what you'll see keepers like De Gea, Lloris, who's the other one? Cech, how many great saves did he make today to keep Arsenal in it? So I'm looking at that, and then I look at Courtois, and I say, all right, so let's get an improvement. So we go get Kepa. Everybody's talking about, oh, he's great with his feet, oh, he's fantastic with his feet. And then he gives away 2 goals. The first one, get your hand out, push it wide. He was there, he got a hand to it, but his hand's not strong enough, and it bounces up under it. The second one, it's right at him. All he has to do is just parry it over the goal, and what does he do? Slaps at it, misses it. I mean, Czech made a save right after that one where Murata, came down the field. It was cut back to him. Nice driven shot. Same shot, except Czech parries it over the goal and Kepa lets it in. Why did we go spend that much money for him if he's not going to provide for us? Don't get me wrong. I realize we needed a replacement for Courtois. I understand that. Caballero, Green are not good enough. However, Balka was doing okay in preseason. And so to see us go spend that much money for a keeper and he lets in 2 goals today, why did we spend that much money? It's ridiculous. We have good keepers coming out of our academy. Let one of them get a chance. But no. Once again, we waste money on someone like we've done in the past. Murata, Bakayoko, Pedro, honestly, I think we spent too much money on him. Who's some of the other ones? David Luiz, we spent way too much money to bring him back. There's some others that we've spent way too much on, and it's just, they haven't been worth the price tag. So, with that being said, moving into defense, it's really hard because I see the hard work that players like Alonso, Rudiger, Azpilicueta, I see the hard work they're putting in, but then there are moments where I just get really frustrated with them sometimes because they're so stagnant. And David Luiz, having him back there doesn't help. And I think a lot of that comes down to who's the leader. Well, it should be Azpilicueta. Okay, well, he's over on the right side. So how is he supposed to lead as the captain if he's out on the right fullback position? You see the problem here? Last year it was the captain was somebody who was in the center of the defense. Even though it was the center 3, somebody in the center was commanding it. Somebody was running it, whether it was Azpilicueta, whether it was Cahill. Someone was back there and they were the captain and they were running it. Today, I didn't see anyone talking. There was one, I think it was the first chance that Aubameyang just lashed over, I believe. Player runs in and Azpilicueta and David Luiz are the ones that are right there. Gets cut back across and I don't see anybody talking. I don't see anybody saying, hey, go pick him up. Hey, cut that pass off. Hey, do that. Nobody's talking. And I remember this from last season too. Whenever David Luiz was in the middle, whenever he was in the center compared to when Christensen was in, it felt like everyone around him just got slower. And I feel like that energy that he puts out, the laziness that he puts out, I feel like sometimes it affects the people around him. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but he was definitely the worst of the back four as far as the laziness. I mean, goodness, for the second goal, was anybody moving? I think the entire just line of Blues was completely stagnant. Rudiger overall was solid, but he did have a couple moments where he lost track of his mark. He wasn't really keeping track of where people were. Azpilicueta, it's hard for him out on the fullback compared to where he was last year because he's not able to be as involved in the defensive side of things, and I hate that for him. But you can tell it's almost like he was a fullback, and now that he played center back for so long for the past 2 seasons, it's hard for him to go back to fullback, and you can see he's not really taking up the right positions, and it's hurting us. And Alonso, when he's going forward, he looks great, but defensively, he's a joke. I mean, I talked about it in the Man City game. Mahrez saw he was up against Alonso and just was ecstatic because he just had so much time to run at him, to take him down the line with speed and beat him. Bellerin, of all people today, the garbage right back for Arsenal, yeah, he was taking him down the line, beating him, causing him big problems because Alonso's not fast enough to do the job. He's not speedy enough to keep up with those players. Now, don't get me wrong. Going down the field, he looks great. Good goal, good assist for the first goal. Thank you for that. However, he's also a defender. So unless we have a defender behind him who's going to do the work, which is not David Luiz, it's going to be a problem. They're going to keep attacking down that right side for them, and it's just going to keep hurting us. So we've got to figure out something. Whether it's changing the back line at least, whether it's changing the personnel back there, we've got to do something because that was an awful display today. Both of those goals and even the chances that we gave away where they just skied them over the goal, it was awful to watch. It was like watching a bunch of kids just kind of watching them pass around like, oh, that's really cool. Oh, what a great pass. Oh, you missed, man. That was terrible. That's what I felt like I was watching. Another part of that comes down to the midfield. Now, we saw the past 2 seasons, really, one of the things that Conte brought to the field was in the middle, he's almost like another defender because of how much he runs, how much he pretty much pretty much sits in front of the back line and almost acts like a buffer. However, with Sarri wanting to play further down the field, and honestly even pushing him off to one side, I feel like he's so limited there. And I don't know if this was a decision by the manager. I don't know if Conte just felt like he needed to stay on the right side. But he looks so lost in this game. Where in the first game, it felt like he was on the right side of the midfield three, but he was also still cutting back in, doing the defensive side of things. Today, it felt like he was limited to the right side. And I remember on Twitter, I compared him to a cheetah that's been locked up, and just there's an antelope right in front of him, and he's being told to wait, don't go after it. And he's just sitting there like, I want to go. I want to go do this, but I'm being told to stay here. So I feel like it has to be a manager thing. Like, I don't think if the manager didn't say, hey, stay on that side, I don't think he would actually just stay over there. I feel like he's a player who is going to float a little bit, who's going to get both sides and kind of keep track of everything. So it has to be something where Sarri in the last game was like, hey, look, love the work you're putting in, but we need you to stay over there. And look at how it hurt us today. He's not as involved defensively. He's having to do more one-sided stuff instead of being able to just go all around the field like we know he can and just take it on everyone. So I'm really disappointed that we've got a system set up now that plays not to Conte's strengths, because that's what we need. We need him to be playing to his strengths. And then Jorginho, not a bad first half when we were in control, but when Arsenal started their dominance, he was just a spectator. I mean, both of the goals and I think most of the chances they had, he's just jogging in from the top of the box as they're taking a shot from the top of the box. And that's why Conte needs to be in the middle, because he's going to be blocking those chances. He's going to be cutting those passes off. And Jorginho's not. And that's my frustration there. I haven't had a problem with Jorginho for the most part. But if I did have a complaint, it's the fact that he's not really defensive-minded. He can be sometimes. He can cut off some good passes. But they've got him in there to be a distributor in the middle. But whenever we face these better teams, like Arsenal, like Man City, like Man U, like Liverpool, if they've got the ball, he's going to hurt us in that position because he can't do it as well as Conte can. So it's like you're setting your team up to do well against these lower teams, like a Huddersfield, like a Bournemouth, a Watford, a Newcastle. Teams like that will probably be okay against because Jorginho can do that job fine against teams like that. But when we face these top teams that have a ton of quality and move the ball through the middle of the field and attack and cut it back to the top of the box, and you have Jorginho in there, it's not going to be good enough. And we saw that today. So I don't know if there's going to be a change after this or if Sarri's just going to be like, no, he's my man. I'm going to trust in him. Because if you do, then we're just going to keep getting, not necessarily beat by these top teams, but we're going to suffer in some of these games. There are going to be a couple we just throw away the points because defensively we're so weak right now. And then Barkley, first half was awful. Second half came out with a fire. And I hated the fact that he showed that so late because, Kovacic came out and just dominated. So I feel like now Barkley's position is pretty much done. But second half, I thought he did really well. Very strong in the midfield, good speed, good quality on the ball. But like too little too late. At this point, first half you were uninvolved. And now, when you're finally starting to step up, it's too late. We're ready to make a change. So I don't know. I feel like he still has potential in him, but he doesn't show it enough, and that's a problem. And then as far as the front three, Willian and Pedro continued playing. I saw after the game, Sarri said that Hazard's not ready to play full 90 minutes yet. My thought is, why not at least start him and then pull him out instead of benching him and then putting him in? Anyway. But Willian, I thought, wasn't really as effective today. I'm not really sure why, because it was a game set up for him, especially when Arsenal started taking it back at us. That's when he thrives, is the counterattack. But for some reason, he wasn't as involved. It felt like he wasn't really getting on the ball in dangerous situations. Every time he picked it up, it was like he was always surrounded by 3 or 4 players, instead of when he normally picks it up on the wing, it's a one-on-one situation, and he's going to win that. So, I don't know. I was kind of disappointed that he didn't get himself in better positions today. For Pedro, I thought he played pretty well at the first part of the first half. Second part of the first half, awful. First part of the second half, awful. And then stepped it up a bit whenever the Hazard and Kovacic came in. When the quality started picking up, his did as well. So I think he's kind of a player that will fade in and out as the team fades in and out. But the main thing from Pedro today is that he really worked hard to win the ball back, and that's very important because there aren't a lot of attacking players that are willing to do that, and Pedro is one that can do it. He's very buzzing. He's just all around you trying to nick it off. And then Murata, it's funny because all the people were like, "Oh, Murata, what a great game! He finally got a goal. He's looking good." He had a good 10 minutes. He scored the goal, and right before that, he started to show a little bit, and then he scores, and then he's working hard. He goes and wins the ball back at midfield at one point. Has a great chance, good little movement on the ball for about 10 minutes. And then the rest of his game, I don't remember. I don't remember seeing anything from him. I don't remember hearing anything from him. And that's the big problem with Murata. He will give you a good few minutes in each game, but he will not give you a consistently good performance every game. And that's why I can't trust him. That's why I can't trust him up top. Giroud comes on for the last, I think it was like 15 minutes or something like that, and right away you can feel the impact because he's running into defenders, he's winning balls out of the air, he's knocking them down for other players to get onto. He's not a finisher, but he works so hard up there that he allows the players around him to be finishers. That's why France won the World Cup. They sent the ball up to Giroud, he wins the ball in the air, or he knocks the defenders off the ball, or he works hard to win it back. You've got two finishers in Mbappe and Griezmann that can do the job. With Chelsea, we've got Willian, we've got Pedro, we've got Hazard that can all score. Let Giroud be up there to be the one that wins the ball, and then they can be the finishers. Because the problem with Murata, he's not a finisher, and he's not a player who's going to win the ball for you, so he's not providing anything for the team. And that's the frustration. And I've talked about this over and over and over again, but I still see him playing, and it's very, very frustrating because of that. So, with that being said, I'm glad he got a goal. I'm glad he played well for those 10 minutes when we needed him to. But then when we needed him to step up, after they get the game back, after it's all tied up again, when we needed him to step up there, he was uninvolved. He wasn't providing anything again, and that's frustrating. So, as far as the subs that came on, I already talked a little bit about Kovacic. Honestly, he looks like he's going to be probably one of our best signings of the summer. People are already raving about Jorginho, of course, because, look at what he's doing in the middle. In my opinion, Kovacic showed today he can do both sides of it. Very hard-working defensively, strong defensively, good on the ball as well. He seemed to weave in and out of defenders. Saw some good passes from him, too. So I was very impressed with him. I think our strongest midfield three is going to be Kanté in the center, with Jorginho maybe dropping in a little bit more, and then Kovacic kind of doing the box-to-box stuff. But yeah, I was really, really impressed with him. Hazard, I thought, came on, did well. Really dangerous player, as we know. Got the assist for the winning goal. I don't know why he wasn't starting. I feel like we easily could have put the game away if he was starting earlier, but whatever. Sarri's going to do what Sarri's going to do. And then Giroud came on, and like I said, he worked very hard. Started winning the ball for us. Started putting pressure on the defense, causing them problems so they couldn't just, it's not easy whenever he's on the field. He always causes problems, even if he's not scoring, and that's what I love about having Giroud on the field compared to Murata. So I wish more people could see what I see, because not enough people do. I still see all these people bashing Giroud and talk about how great Murata is. Don't you see the difference when they're on the field? But anyway, with all that being said, it was a win, which is good, but I need to see more. The first 15-20 minutes was great. It was a great performance, a lot of energy, a lot of good attacking movement, good work to win the ball back as well from the midfield, from the attackers, from the defense. And then it's like once Arsenal started coming back at us, I think about like the 25-minute mark, all of a sudden you could just feel the game start to shift. I don't know what happened. I don't know if we just started sitting off a bit more, but we let them have possession. We started just slowly getting to the ball, slowly putting pressure on, and it let them have time to do whatever they wanted to do. They get that first goal, and now they're back in the game. And now they've got momentum, and now they're coming at us, and our defense is already stagnant, and now they've scored a second one. And it just felt like any minute now it was just going to be a runaway game for Arsenal. So I don't want to have that feeling. I don't want to feel like, it's just going to take that one moment and then our defense is going to fall apart. Because that's not what title-winning teams are built upon. Title-winning teams are built upon not just good attack, but also good defense. And so as long as we have this defense that is this weak, as long as David Luiz is in there, as long as Jorginho is our defensive mid, I think we're going to have problems defensively. So, take from this what you will, but in my opinion, I was disappointed with the overall performance today. I'm glad we got the win. I'm glad we get to rub it in the Arsenal supporters' faces, because who doesn't love to look at an Arsenal fan and be like, you're an Arsenal supporter. But at the same time, I mean, for our season, I want to see us improve. I want to see us get better. I want to see us have a fighting chance. And right now, I don't see that. I see a team that is going to do well against the lower teams, but then when we hit the top teams, we're going to struggle. And so Man U, Man City are probably going to finish above us, probably even Liverpool. So I'm hoping Sarri can try to figure out a way to solve this problem. I'm hoping he stops using David Luiz. I'm hoping he stops using Morata and puts our best players out there, because that's what we need right now. So anyway, with all that being said, those are my thoughts, so let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on the game today? Let me know. We could talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Chelsea reviews, and I'll see you guys in the next game. Peace out.